Militam jena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam bhangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Nimataranam. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo. Don't know what to say after that. Why they did a play about my guru, my Shiksha guru, Ramchandra Puri. This is a problem that we occasionally encounter. Devotees who, not very often, right? Just once in a while. Devotees who find themselves inclined to discuss the difficulties that others are having. Every once in a while we encounter someone like that. Nowadays it's been made very easy to indulge in such discussion in such a way that so many people can benefit from our insight into the dark, smelly crevasses of the Vaishnavas' nasty hearts. We have the interwebs and the Facebook machine and all those things that make it so easy for us to find out just what's wrong with everybody else. So easy. And so attractive, all the colors, right? Nice colors and stuff. Get the little thing, if you've got Facebook open, you got a little thing that everyone goes, which means, or nectar. I have to stop and go find out what it is. Who is it this time? And the interesting thing about our engaging in gossip on the internet is it gets duplicated over and over and over again. So even if we try to take it back,
too late.
Sorry, it's too late. Someone's already copied it, pasted it, archived it, forwarded it to all 5,000 of their friends and 16,000 of their followers, and then they to theirs, and so on and so forth. And then when we realize 3 or 4 minutes later, it wasn't him, it was this guy over here. Never mind, everybody in the world now knows what this gentleman has done. And it's so attractive to do that. Sometimes we find devotees spend hours. They keep saying, I've got to get off of Facebook. And one devotee was telling, I've got to get, he was, got to get off of Facebook and go pack because I'm moving. It's crunch time. I've got to move. And then this morning I went to check some messages, and guess what? There he is again. So this has become a very highly communicable disease, and we all know that our time is better spent if we examine our own faults. There was one letter Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati wrote one of his disciples who apparently had written to complain about another disciple. And he said, I don't understand why you, something to the effect that, I don't understand why you feel so compelled to examine the faults of others. I'm the guru, so it's my duty somehow to point out difficulties in other devotees, but there's just really no necessity for you to do so. I think your time would be better spent examining your own faults and working on those, something to that effect. And this is, I think, this is good instruction for all of us. I know that when I found this in my copy of, what's the big coffee table book, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur from Mangala. I pulled out one. I have this can of they're little bronze book darts. You can use it to mark a particular passage in a book without the sticky stuff from Post-its or the little Post-it flags or anything, or they don't rust or anything. So sometimes I go through the book darts fairly quickly. A little hard to use with a Kindle. So my book darts have been going more slowly, I guess. But that's something that I marked immediately. I think it's probably the first thing that I actually stopped and marked as I was going through my copy of Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur when I got it a few years ago. And it's something that we can really take to heart. The most fruitful thing would be for us to examine our own hearts and find out where the difficulties are, where are the weak spots in our faith, what are the weak spots in our, and just try to find good association that we can, and devotees that we can trust, in whom we can confide, and who can help us deal with these problems. And it's this kind of Sangha, this is real sadhu Sangha, that really is the key to progressive bhakti. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koi, Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. All perfection comes from even a moment's, fraction of a second, what is it, 1/11th of a second or something?
Yeah.
Association with the sadhu. Because association is so powerful that the example that's given in the Puranas, I think, that a crystal takes on the color of its environment. If you take a quartz crystal and you put it in a room full of red things, the facets are going to catch that and it's going to look red. If you put it in a room full of blue things, then it will become blue. So we take on the color of our association. So our hankering, our real hankering, is to find association that encourages our progress in Krishna consciousness. We're not interested in the guy who's always putting us down, the Ramchandra Puri who's looking for the ants. I mean, goodness gracious, it's Orissa. It's a nice, warm place. You don't have to have crumbs in your room for there to be ants. Just like here in Hawaii, the same thing. We keep our houses as clean as we can, but somehow or other, cockroaches will still find a place to live. No matter how hard we try, we still have to put those nasty little cockroach traps around, no matter how clean we keep our homes. Just a fact of life. So, who wants to, spend their time with people who are just, in order to apparently, I don't know, exalt themselves, at least in their own eyes, pointing out the faults of others. It's just no fun. It's not a lot of fun when they're pointing out my faults, especially if it's done maliciously, if it's done lovingly, if it's, like I was saying the other day, if Gopal were to point something out to me, it would be really different than if, some other people that with whom I'm acquainted, who we don't need to name, were to say, if Gopal were to say, this is what I hear sometimes, you complain, picky. And if he were to say, hey, Maharaj, okay, made your point, let it go. I'd say, oh, okay, right. But if one of these other people were to say, oh, we know Ashram Maharaj, he can't stand anything about ISKCON, he can't stand anything about this group, that Maharaj, all these, he's just always ragging on them because he's just a miserable old man. I'm not going to, what do I care about that guy? He's probably almost as miserable as I am, so, But when someone comes to me and, whose heart I can feel, then I'm going to take that advice to heart. So we look for sadhu sangha, good real sadhu sangha, as Srila Rupa Goswami defines it in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Swadhyachiyasya snigdhasya. That they have interests similar to ours, part of the same group, Swadhyati, same family, and snigdhasya, they're affectionately disposed. That makes everything so much nice. When the focus of our keeping company with others are the 6 sanghas of Priti Lakshanam that we read about in Upadeshamrita. Now, let's face it, it's a lot of fun for us to laugh at Ramchandra Puri. Because we're thinking, it's not me, right? But it's not really funny. It's a very, very sad situation. If we find ourselves in the company of devotees like this, because the danger is that we also may fall into that, take on that color as well. So we look for devotees who, if not a little, are more advanced than us, who at least are progressive, at least interested in making spiritual progress, and they're serious about their practice, because that's the color we want to take on. We need all the help we can get, for goodness sake. How many lifetimes of conditioning do we have? It's not even possible to count. The only thing greater than that is the atibhagya, the incomprehensibly good fortune that, because of some sukriti that we accidentally might have accumulated along the way, all of a sudden some nice devotee engaged in broadcasting the glories of the holy name showed a little mercy to us. And Bhakti Devi, who takes shelter in the hearts of such devotees, says, oh, because she's yadricha, she's completely independent. She's, according to Vishwanath Chakravarti, every bit as independent as the Supreme Lord himself. But the Lord himself actually, and Bhakti Devi, they submit themselves to the devotees. They follow the devotees' lead, and wherever the devotees show their mercy, that's where Bhakti Devi goes. It's her choice. That good fortune is sometimes compared to when you have, I think I might have mentioned this before, right? The turtle swimming in the ocean comes up to the surface to take a breath. There's a board floating on the surface of the ocean, and there's a knothole somewhere in that board, and the turtle's head just happens to come up through the knothole when he or she comes up to take that breath. What are the chances? Something like the chances of our actually meeting a devotee and receiving that mercy. And we should make sure that our hearts are open whenever that mercy comes. Samsaradava nalalita lokataranaya karanya ghanaghanatva. He's like a rain cloud, distributing mercy that he draws from the ocean of mercy. Karuna sindhu, right? And how do we get that rain? Close the umbrella. Throw them away, bro. Just bathe in the mercy. Let it come. So we look for that kind of association, and we keep ourselves open to that kind of association. And when we find the others, if they're engaged in some, if they're engaged in spiritual practice, we can respect them. We can respect and appreciate what they are doing. But we can also be careful about how intimately we associate with them. We don't have to give them our hearts. We know, if this is somebody that I can't trust with my heart, ladies generally find that. Either they know that instinctively or they find it out sometimes the hard way. Same thing with men. We give our heart to the wrong person. Nothing but heartache, right? So if it's the same thing in spiritual life. So much heartache in it, and it creates impediments in our own progress, and we want to become progressive devotees. We don't want to stall. Those things are going to come going through the stage of anartha vritti. And sometimes we become discouraged by them, right? We go make a little progress, and then it seems like, oh my gosh, it's becoming such a grind. Maybe nothing's happening at all. But the thing is, when you want to climb K2 or Mount Everest, what do you have to do first? You have to go through the foothills. So you're going up, and then you're going down, and then you're going up some more, and you're going down some more, maybe, wow, that's a big deep valley, but then you go up some more, and then you keep going up, and it looks like when you're going down that slope into the valley, you're thinking, oh my God, I'm not getting anywhere at all. What is this? Bhakti doesn't work? What's the deal? But then, if you actually take a look at the overall line, there you are, approaching the summit, through bhava to prema. So, we just find good association and we just keep going, whatever comes. And eventually we get through all those foothills. And once you get to Nishta, then things become more manageable and more encouraging. So, we look for the Gopal Bhatta Goswamis instead of the Ramchandra Puris to associate with. And we're happier that way. Thank you very much.